Dame una margherita e mi pondrei contenta.
Hi everyone, I'm going to be doing a contouring photo shoot today and a tutorial, and I just want to give you a heads up in advance that this is makeup that is only to be on camera, so it's going to be heavier, but it's going to give you an idea of what you're going to be doing when you're contouring. I will explain later how to contour if you're going out and you don't want it to be too heavy, but for now we're going to focus on Casey Elizabeth, my model here. As you can see, she has a very oval shaped face and she has darker skin. That is better to use for something like this with the contouring if you have fairer skin. I will break into that later on and how to contour with a fair skin and maybe a different shaped face. So here it is. Okay, to start today, there's a couple things I want to explain before we do anything. One, you're going to need something very dark. This is going to be what you're going to be contouring with, and this is a liquid. Another thing is I place it on my skin ahead of time. This is going to warm the makeup up so that it can blend easier and really stay on the face nicely. So ahead of time I've put it on my wrist. You can put it on the back of your hand, whatever you choose. And third, I have this brush here. It is a contouring brush for foundation. It is not a blush brush that you would use to blend. And this is what I'm going to be using to take it from my wrist onto your face and contour. Okay, so I've applied the darker makeup that I spoke about earlier in the places where we want the light to hide. The light's going to catch things that we highlight, but it's not going to catch what we contour. So I've taken underneath her cheekbone, which is one of the most important spots, and I've contoured down towards the face. We don't want to go beyond the apples of the cheeks. It can appear a little bit dirty. I've also taken it up underneath the jawline. This is going to really make her jaw look very pronounced and defined. I've taken it over to the temple right here just to kind of give the face an elongated look from the front. And then I've contoured up through her forehead just to make the forehead appear smaller. I've taken it down the nose to give her a narrow nose and across here because it's going to actually make her nose appear smaller and give the illusion that it's thinner than it actually is. And then I have it here on the chin just to kind of give the illusion that her chin is in the same place as her face and it's elongated very well. Okay, so what I've done here is I've now highlighted. This is going to be the part of the light that's going to catch your face. This right here by your cheekbone is probably the most prominent part of the face that we want everyone to notice. It makes our face look really trim and elongated. So I've highlighted from the hairline all the way up under the eyes into the nose on each side. And then in the middle here, I've brought it through the contoured lines and up into an upside down triangle, and this is going to really make her bridge of her nose stand out. And then I've brought some down here over the Cupid's bow. This is going to make her lips look fuller once we put more makeup on and have lipstick. Now I'm going to be putting a lighter color foundation from her natural color over the parts where I've highlighted. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to be adding layers to really highlight her face. The illuminator that I've put on her face is going to kind of grab the sunlight, and then the lighter foundation is really going to finish it out. And then we're going to blend it all together. Okay, now we're going to be blending. What I'm going to be using is a kabuki brush. It doesn't need to be from any big name. I've gotten mine from e.l.f., which you can get at Target. It's $3 and it is probably the best brush you're going to use. And this is going to be what I use to blend the dark into the lighter to kind of finish off the contouring. So I'm going to be brightening up her eyes at this point. We've already blended the skin, and as you can see, it looks normal. It doesn't look like she has her face painted anymore. But at this point, I'm going to dab a little bit of a very light colored concealer underneath the eye. Today I'm going to be using Hard Candy Glamouflage. This is meant more for tattoo coverage, but it's wonderful for under the eyes to get rid of the discoloration. And as you can see, it's just a little bit lighter than her skin tone, and this is going to help brighten and give her a youthful look. Okay, so I just wanted to explain a little bit further about the under eye. As you can see, it's a lot lighter than her complexion. Like I said, this is going to brighten her up and make her look more awake and youthful. What I'm using to blend is an actual blender. I've made it wet. This is going to make sure that it blends very nicely and it's not creasy. And when you're going to blend under the eye, in order to avoid wrinkles, do not pull the skin and rub underneath your eye. You're going to dab it lightly like this, and you're going to bring it down into a triangle motion onto the cheek. You're not going to only conceal right under the eye. It's going to show a huge difference from the cheek to the eye. You want to make sure that you bring this down onto the nose and down onto the apple of the cheek. Now I'm going to be applying the powder end of the contouring, which is the same concept. We're going to be highlighting, putting dark colors underneath the cheekbone and highlighting the rest of the face. Today I'm going to be using Narcissus. They have something called a cheek kit. This has the highlighter, the bronzer, and the bronzer needs to be matte. No glitter is to be in this bronzer or else it'll give you a dirty look. And then I've got a blush here as well, which I will use a little bit of. And what I'm going to do is also show you the brushes that you're going to want to use for this. This is a contouring brush. As you can see, it has a little bit of an angle on the top. This is to make sure that we get a nice clean line on her face. And then this is going to be used for the highlighter. This is going to make sure that it's not overpowering and it lightly dusts in on her face. And I'm going to slowly show you how to do this properly. With the contouring brush, I'm going to start by kind of heavily putting it on there. And then I'm going to tap it off the top just to make sure that it's not too crazy. When you're applying this onto the cheek, you're not going to sweep it on. You're going to dab it on in a circular motion down underneath the cheekbone. So just go ahead and take your brush and kind of feel for your cheekbone. And you're going to go right underneath. And you want to take it up into the hairline and kind of almost up to the ear because you want it to look, you know, as clean and blended as you can. We don't want solid lines on your face. That's not how we contour properly. And then for the highlighting, and I'll show you that very quickly, I'm going to take the highlighting brush that I showed you. I'm going to lightly put it on this brush, and I'm actually not going to be tapping it off because we want to use a lot of it. And you're going to sweep it on the cheek bones. And this is going to be what grabs the light whenever you're out in the sun or when you're taking a photo. Do the same thing, bring it up into the hairline.